Now then, witches and beautiful souls, welcome to a special edition of the Bell Witch podcast, witching in the 21st century with me, Swailes, the friendly green witch. It has been a couple of weeks since I was lucky enough to visit the Healing Alternatives Festival in Ilkley in West Yorkshire, and this is what I gathered while I was there. However, before we get into the fun stuff, I have something serious to mention. I would like to address the content I shared recently regarding the sweet little grey squirrel. It was suggested it was unfair that I cast shade on the squirrel simply for being how nature intended. To be fair, I did call the squirrel a pain in the arse from the perspective of the native trees in which the episode was about. What's more of a pain in the arse for the trees and nature altogether is indeed humans who brought the grey squirrel over from North America on historic ships. I know it's always humans that are to blame. I know this. And in hindsight, I should have mentioned this in the content. I didn't think of it. And I am attempting to be more rigid in my topic subjects. So I was focused mostly on trees. I absolutely did not suggest or instruct anybody to go out and capture a grey squirrel. The bizarre rule that I shared was simply to highlight just how destructive the grey squirrel natural behaviour is to native British trees. And I did end with, please don't do that because nature. But it appears that the message was lost and interpreted not all as how I intended it to be. And I am sincerely sorry for that. I'm not a squirrel hater, and I only feel it's a shame in this case that the red squirrel is under threat and the British landscape is suffering in terms of trees getting ill and dying. I would never intentionally harm or influence others to harm our Mother Nature in any way. And I just felt like I had to be crystal clear on this. Back to the podcast. This is a particularly unusual episode as it is my first attempt at Vox Pocksing at the lovely festival that we talked about with Catherine of Orange Blossom Always, and we spoke about this upcoming festival which has now been and gone, and I was lucky enough to find myself a very snazzy field mic where I could walk around and speak to the actual healers who were there, which was absolutely fascinating, and I learned loads of really cool topics, what they offer, how it may work, is it woo-woo, is it science, you can heal your body through your feet, all kinds of amazing stuff. Have a little listen and tell me what you think. It was a great day out, and I want to thank everybody who agreed to come on, because it's not easy talking about yourself directly to somebody on a microphone. It made me laugh because some people were absolutely up for it and saw me and was waving at me, and other people were recoiling, as I've said before, away from the mic and the ram horns and all that. But overall, it was brilliant. I learnt so much, and I'm going to divide this into two because, as you know, I'm trying to have smaller episodes that are easier to consume, but also there's a bit of a theme. There's the direct Vox Pocks, and then there's also a couple of therapists that I had direct healing from. I could speak from a place of having experienced what they were offering, and I thought that made quite an interesting episode angle. Anyway, I shall hit play. Enjoy, let me know what you think. Should I do this more? Have fun.
Hi, I'm Angela Green. I'm a somatic therapist and mindfulness teacher, and I'm here today at Ilkley at this wonderful festival. It's just great to be here. I help people come home to their bodies, to their emotions, to feeling what they're feeling in their body, and it helps them process stuck patterns in their body, and I love doing that. I'm so passionate about that because of my own journey of healing. When I discovered somatics, working with a mind-body coach who's here today with me, my colleague Jerry, it's a wonderful thing to be able to offer people this modality. Help people understand their nervous systems, help people process what's going on in their bodies and minds, and help them become the person they deserve to be, really. It's that shifting people from survival patterns into allowing them to thrive enabling them to be the best person they want to be in the world.
And the service that you offer is a long-term service, kind of like counselling, but in the body.
Yeah, I describe it as, there is a bit of talking involved, but I like to help people get out of their heads, out of the stories they tell about themselves. Our brains are tricky and often tell us a lot of untruths about who we think we are. And I really help people explore beyond that into what they're feeling and noticing in their body, and how things like emotions are felt in the body. How those kind of core self-beliefs that maybe we learnt when we were younger because they helped us in some way then, but are no longer needed. So often there are patterns in our nervous system and responses and parts that show up that are no longer helpful to us as adults. So yeah, the deep work, and it takes a huge amount of courage to do this deeper work in exploring those patterns, but it's really a beautiful journey that I love holding space to help people with. And it's fantastic to be here offering taster sessions, and we're doing a spotlight workshop on Sunday, the 12th, which is called Softening the Armour, Touch, Trauma and the Wisdom of the Body, because our bodies hold so much wisdom, but many of us are disconnected from that deep wisdom that lies within our bodies. Yeah.
And you're based in Leeds?
Yes, I'm based in Leeds, but mostly I work online at the moment, offering kind of Zoom sessions, whether that's working one-to-one with people, or offering some online programs which can help people learn some of the basics, the foundations of exploring their own nervous systems and patterns and responses in their mind and body, giving them a framework that helps them explore their own emotions and feel, because it's all about feeling to heal.
Sounds brilliant. Thank you very much. Where can we find you?
Yeah, so I'm on angelagreen.co.uk is my website. You can email me at hello@angelagreen.co.uk. And I'm always happy to have a free, friendly chat for 30 minutes with anybody that's interested in exploring what somatic therapy is and how it may help you. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good festival.
Thank you.
Right, with me here I have Kitty, who's a visitor to the Alternatives Healing Festival. How are you?
Really good, thank you. Enjoying myself.
Fabulous. Have you been to the festival before?
Yes, this is the third time I've been here now.
Oh, nice. And what is it you're most looking forward to?
The jewellery stall, Garbons, something like that. He makes copper and raw stone or polished stone jewellery, and it is the most beautiful things you have ever seen.
So you'll be spending today then?
Yes, I have a fair amount of spending money saved up that is going to be going almost entirely on the jewellery.
Oh, nice. Are you a fan of crystal healing?
Yes, I do. I very much like crystals. And I also tend to be the, for want of a better term, hippy-dippy type, and believe very much in the universe and in karma, and if you think it helps, it helps. So what more do you need?
Exactly. And I must say, your outfit is gorgeous. We started talking to each other because we're both dressed up to the nines. You look great, my girl.
1950s style is my go-to, and I wouldn't wear anything else. So
thank you for talking to me today.
Hi, my name's Mandy, and I work as Held by Mandy, Mother of Roots, and I work from the Crystal Booth with Angela.
Ooh, and you're here today at the Alternatives Healing Festival, offering some workshops, is that correct?
Yeah, so today, Saturday, 11 till 12, we are holding sound healing with the bowls, the gongs, lots of lovely other instruments, and tomorrow we are holding breathwork and hands-on healing.
What healing do you offer?
I'm a Reiki healer, very intuitive, more of an intuitive healer than a Reiki healer, but I did my Reiki healing because everybody kind of knows what Reiki is, but I'm very intuitive. I get messages and guidance throughout my healing.
How does it work?
So Reiki, how does Reiki? So Reiki works on our chakras, as you know, and sometimes they need a little bit of help, sometimes they get a little bit stuck, sometimes they're spinning in the wrong direction, and we know that if we want to be working wholly and the best we can, everything needs to be kind of aligned. So with the Reiki healing, we kind of give the things that are a little bit stuck a little bit of help, and we're able to get them spinning in a more positive direction. It's really good for relaxation, for stress, for everything really.
And do you work with crystals?
I do work with crystals, so I might put some crystals that are for you, either throat chakra, heart chakra, solar plex, whatever you need at that time, wherever I'm guided to. I do choose crystals along the way. Sometimes I don't use them. Sometimes I use instruments. I have my drum, I have my gong, I have my rattle. So sometimes I use light language, depends whatever comes through for that individual person. Every session I do is different. Sometimes I sing and I cannot sing. I cannot hold a note, but sometimes I sing beautifully and I don't know where it comes from. That's just what I'm guided to do.
I ask this because there's a beautiful table in front of me full to the brim of crystals, all different colours, all different sizes, a few goddesses, a few decks. Is there one particular crystal that you are always drawn to use in your healing?
Shut this. Sorry, you asked me a question.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so rose quartz is massive for me. I think it's such a self-healing. It was one of the very first crystals I was given was rose quartz. I was grieving at the time and someone gave me a rose quartz and an amethyst, and that is how I found Angela. Because I'd been given this crystal and I just thought, do you know what, I'm going to start learning a bit more about crystals, and that's how I found Ange at the crystal when she was in Eden, the crystal booth, and then I started having Reiki with her, got more into my crystals, more into my meditation, more into my sound baths. I was so grateful for what she'd done for me in that time that I needed to do that for other people, and that's where my journey led me really. So yeah, I started doing my Reiki training with Ange, and now I'm working alongside her in the crystal booth, which is just a dream come true, to be fair.
Oh, it's beautiful how it all works out. Timing is everything.
It was the darkest time of my life and I found the brightest star, which was Angela, and I didn't know I needed her at the time, and I think if you spoke to Angela she probably didn't know she needed me either, but we've just grown to love each other so much, and 3 years on we're kind of inseparable now.
Oh, so lovely to hear. And you offer joint things at the shop, is that correct?
We do. So every Thursday night we have meditation, every Friday night we have sound baths. We run healing circles called the Inner Light, and we run them every month, and it's a whole day retreat from 11 till 5 with beautiful home cooked food, meditation, sound baths, hands-on healing, breathwork, kundalini movement. It's a whole day of just healing and feeling beautiful. So we hold them every month. We do mother and baby sound baths now, which are incredible for the mums just to come and relax, and for the babies just to enjoy it as well. So we've got lots going on.
Yeah, I wish I'd have had that when my babies were little. I would have totally come to a sound bath with them.
Yeah, we fell upon it by accident. We did the Green Festival at Horsforth in the Japanese garden, and we held a sound bath and people came with the babies, and the babies never moved for the entire hour, and they were like, don't you offer something like this? And we were like, well, we can do. And we started, and like now we're sold out. We do 2 every month and they're just like completely sold out.
Hi, I'm Heidi. My business is Heidi Jane Holistics, down at the King's Hall and Winter Gardens today, and I'm offering mini taster treatments for Swedish massage, aromatherapy and reflexology. Reflexology is basically on the soles of our feet we have pressure points that directly correlate with different areas in the body, and by applying pressure to those points on the feet you can relieve tension that's built up in the body.
So is it true a toe represents your neck or something like that?
So the toes, the big toe is actually the brain, and then a little bit further down it's the neck, and then across onto the other toes you've got your ear, the last 2 toes, the baby toe on the one at the end, and then in the middle is the eye So there's many different pressure points. You can actually feel on the foot if there's an issue in the body. Like you can actually feel where it is. Like if someone has an issue with the shoulder, it's almost like a grainy feeling in the foot. And so you can massage the area and it'll relieve some of the tension in the shoulder, for example, or wherever it might be.
Wow, so you can cure stuff via the feet?
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's really interesting. People don't realise, but you can actually relieve so much tension in the body by just applying pressure to the area on the foot.
So do you find like people who have bad health generally have bad feet?
Yeah, you can definitely tell on the foot. There seems to be a lot more going on in terms of that feeling of the graininess in the foot. You can really, really tell. And then you can tell when a person's healthy by the feet as well. The feet just feel so healthy and look so healthy as well.
It was like feet then, because you've got to touch people's feet as your job.
Do you know, I remember when I sort of embarked on this and my mum was sort of saying to me, Heidi, you do realise that you're going to have to be touching people's feet. And I thought for a second, I hadn't fully considered it, but then I thought to myself, do you know, I actually didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I do, but I think just the whole process with the reflexology, so fascinating and interesting that I've just, like, it's fast becoming my favourite holistic treatment.
Do you like your feet being touched?
Yeah, I don't mind actually. My mum's got a really ticklish feet, but I actually enjoy a foot massage. I find it deeply relaxing.
What about toenails? Do they represent anything?
No, with the reflexology, it's the pressure points are mainly on the soles of the feet, on the top of the feet as well, around the ankles. You also have hand reflexology and ear reflexology. In the same way that acupuncturists apply the needles into the ear, into the different pressure points, you can also apply pressure using your fingers and thumbs in the ears, and you have the same sort of mapping on the hands as you do on the feet. So you're actually able to provide the treatment yourself at home if you know what areas the pressure points correlate with in the body. You'd be able to actually give yourself a little full body massage really through the soles of your feet.
Got a suspicion my ears, I'm quite healthy because I've got lots of piercings and my eyesight is really good. I think that's because I've got loads of piercings.
Yeah, definitely. So all the pressure points in your ears, you're sort of applying pressure to them, aren't you? That's probably why you're so happy.
Oh, thank you.
So you can find me on Facebook. It's Heidi Jane Holistics. That's my business. I actually have a mobile clinic, but I also have a weekly clinic at Soul to Soul in Bentham. So I'm on Facebook at the minute. I do need to set an Instagram account up, but I'm just on Facebook. It's just Heidi Jane Holistics of one of the holistic therapies that I provide.
Nice one. Well, thank you for your time, Heidi. Have a good festival.
Hi, I'm Ant369, also known as Shanti Prema, and a whole other bunch of names. I'm a Sanskrit mantra meditation teacher, a yoga teacher, a quantum healing hypnosis technique hypnotherapist, and a consciousness graffiti artist. All those different little things.
Which is what you have, a lovely stall full of beautiful artwork today.
Yeah, so I brought all my artwork. I'm doing some workshops based on Sanskrit mantra meditation yoga and the Dolores Cannon technique of quantum healing and hypnosis. And I'm fusing those. While I was training in Sanskrit meditation, I was also training simultaneously with Dolores Cannon. So I was training with Deepak Chopra and Dolores Cannon at the same time, which was quite fascinating. And then I realised how much they fitted together. And it's probably most of that work has inspired. I handmake stencils, and that kind of work's inspired a lot of my artwork. So I quite often make Sanskrit stencils, make sacred geometry stencils, chakra stencils, and stuff like that. So it all just fuses together really beautifully.
And you work with legends? I can't believe you've trained with it. Oh my God, what's she like?
Yeah, well, it's really mad because she passed now, but I honestly think quantum healing hypnosis, it is the wildest thing I have ever done in my life. And you know, at the workshop today and tomorrow, I'm going to share a couple of stories that I've asked if I could share them, just because it seems to show you that there's no such thing as a coincidence in life, and the way people have come to me and the things I've experienced. Huge gratitude to Dolores, because what I learned in terms of, you know, Dolores explained it like she's kind of like, you're kind of like an investigator or a reporter. And if you imagine now, if you were watching something and I had my eyes closed and you were telling me about what you're watching, that's kind of what it's like. So the client who's hypnotised is kind of experientially in a movie of their own making, and they're explaining that to you, and they're just the most fantastic journeys. It's really mind-blowing. Yeah.
So cool. So tell me a little bit about your art. Is it a process of creating it? Is it quite a meditative state that you go into?
There's a fantastic, something I'd recommend to everyone. It's called the Artist's Way, and it's a 12-week course. And one of the things that's recommended is every morning before you do anything else is to do 3 pages. They call it morning pages. So you just write 3 pages of A4 of whatever comes, and it's almost like a psychic poo, if you will, getting whatever's been going on in your mind onto the paper, and that's where every painting comes from. So out of my three pages, I never plan a painting, I never know what I'm going to paint, I never come up with an idea, but out of those 3 pages of kind of automatic writing, the ideas just come to me and I'm like, right, I'll do that, or I'll do that. So here in this one, I've done like 6 different versions of Hokusai's Wave, mixed with the Botticelli theme, Botticelli's Venus in the Sea, and mixed with Medusa, and linked all that to Sanskrit meditation, these beautiful Chinese style clouds, and just linked all these things together like Sri Yantras, Metatron's cube, the flower of life, and I just link all this sacred symbology together with Sanskrit mantras.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
Thank you so
It'd
much.
be used to meditate with on your wall. I can visualise it now.
Yeah.
So colourful. It's funny you mention the Artist's Way. The reason this podcast exists is because of the Artist's Way.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's amazing. But, well, the mad thing is, it's not weird. Like, since I did quantum healing hypnosis technique, I have realised, like, nothing is weird. Even me being at this festival today came about in the most bizarre way, like the most absolutely bizarre way that I've ended up being here.
There's a story there, isn't there?
It's too long to...
Too long
it's
to
such
say.
a great story, but I don't think you've got time for it, you know.
And as witches, we don't believe in coincidences. Ever. Nothing is coincident.
No.
Where can we find your work? Are you online?
So I'm on Instagram. I don't really do social media due to just my own kind of views on social media, but I am on Instagram. All my artwork's available on Instagram, and I'm on Instagram as Ants369, and I'm on Facebook as I Am Yoga 369. And I Am Yoga. I live in Addingham, and I've got my own yoga and meditation group in Addingham. And I Am Yoga, we always do this thing when we let go of our name and stop doing and just come into being, then you say I am. So I'm called I Am Yoga, which also is Ilkley, Addingham, meditation and yoga. I Am Yoga, so it just works really beautifully.
I like your bowl. Do you use this bowl for?
So I'm so glad you've asked me about that, right? That bowl was a gift to me from my very first QHHT client, and that was a mad story. They were on their way to Miami for a QHHT session, and they were on a yacht, and the yacht got diverted, and they ended up coming to Ilkley instead of Miami, and came for a session with me and brought me this beautiful singing bowl. And that was my very first hypnosis client.
Wow! Right, you're going to give it a bong for us before we let you go?
She'll do it. It's got a really good resonance. One sec.
Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you very much. It's been lovely to talk to you.
Thanks, lovely. Thank you so much.
My name's Amy and I'm the owner and creator of the Aromatherapy. I make massage oils and natural perfumes, and I think I differ from other businesses similar because I use the plants what they're intended to use for. So I use them for their healing purposes rather than the scent, and I just say if you like the scent then that's a bonus.
And this is what you've got in front of us now. Beautiful bottles.
The one that sells most is a sleep blend. I think so many people struggle to sleep, but it is my worst smelling one. Yeah, so I've never found a sleep blend that puts valerian in the blend because it smells awful. But it's a tranquiliser and it works. So I always say if you don't like the smell of valerian, just put it on your feet. So I'm a true believer in if it's getting into your bloodstream, then it will work. And it doesn't necessarily need to smell nice for the intended use.
Put it on your feet?
Yeah. Feet absorb oil quicker than any other part of the body.
I didn't know that. I'm learning proper jewels of knowledge today. Would you say that was your favourite or your bestseller?
It's my bestseller. It's definitely not my favourite. It's the worst smelling. My personal favourite is the Grief Blend. It's got a lot of rose in it and it's really good if you're feeling sad or low, and that sells really well as well. I think a lot more people struggle with grief than they want to let on, but it really helps people, and yeah, it's my personal favourite. In terms of scent.
Are you a witch? Because you look a bit witchy to me.
I'm definitely a witch. 100% witch.
Do you use this in your magic?
You can do. I use quite a lot of them in rituals. So I've got a series of seasonal scents for the wheel of the year, and I use those with my witchy rituals, yes.
And you make it all yourself, like from scratch?
I make it all myself. There might be a cauldron involved for some mixing.
Can you talk us through the process? Like, what does it look like to make it?
When I make a new blend, I put a few scents together that are good for that particular ailment, and then I blend them till they balance quite well, so you won't get an overwhelming scent of one particular oil in them because they are balanced so well. So normally about 4 or 5 different essential oils in each blend, and then my base oil, which is sweet almond.
And that takes a bit of time, I presume.
Creating one can take a bit of time, but once I've got the recipe nailed, I can knock them out quite quickly.
Oh, they're gorgeous. It's a lovely looking stall as well, with the wood shelves and the ivy and all the witchy stuff. Tell us where we can find you.
I have a website. They're all made on my bedroom floor. I live in Hebden Bridge, so you can pick them up from me. I have a website. It's www.thearomatherapy.co.uk, and fairy spelt with an E, not an I, the traditional way. Yes, absolutely the right way. Just the Aroma Fairy on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok.
And one last question, do you use it for yourself as well?
They were created for me. They were never, ever, ever intended to be sold. I had a friend came over and he was like, what are all these little bottles of stuff you've got dotted around? I was like, that one's when I've got PMT, that one's when my kids hurt their knees. And he was like, and you don't sell these, why? And I thought, well, I'll give it a go. And that was 5 years ago. Yay. So
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for giving us your time, and enjoy the festival.
You too. Have a good day.
Hello, I'm Jerry Andrews. I'm the Body Mind Coach, and I also work as a massage therapist, and my business name there is Shan Holistic Massage Therapy. Working out of Guiseley. I work as a massage therapist and a body mind coach, and what that means is integrating bodywork in different forms. So I use massage, but I also work with things like havening, which is the touch therapy, tension or trauma release exercises, TRE, but I also I'm a reiki practitioner as well. So I use different forms of bodywork, integrating that with coaching and therapy, I suppose, to some extent. So working with people with chronic pain and other chronic conditions, but also stress and anxiety and all of those issues that people can really struggle with emotionally. So it's combining both the body and the mind.
Is that something to do with the fascia?
Oh yes, so myofascial work is something that I also do, myofascial release. That gets the connective tissue which holds everything together. So that is also, another part of the body work as well. Typical customers, yes. And I suppose that typical customers are probably more in sort of middle age onwards, especially with the coaching dimension of things. So often a lot of people who reach some form of crossroads in their lives and are looking for something to change, and they need some support to go with that. But equally, do see a lot of people for physical therapy, especially sports people with sports injuries and so on, and that type of thing too. And I do play badminton myself, and sort of have played sports in different ways, so I know what that feels like too. So I work with those issues as well. So it can vary, but a lot of the typical work tends to be more around the sort of the coaching side of people who are looking for something that they need help with at different levels.
It doesn't sound so woo-woo, this. It sounds more scientific.
Oh, yeah, no, not particularly woo-woo. Yeah. Having said that, I think the science and woo is actually two sides of the same coin, to be fair, when we're thinking about energy. And we're talking about physics, quantum physics. That's pure energy. And you're talking about vibration. Those are all wavelengths. And we are simply that, energy in a different form. Science, woo-woo, depends on which side you're looking at it from. It's the same thing to me.
Us woo-woos don't mind a bit of science, but the science people don't really like the woo-woo stuff.
Oh, that is also very true. It's very fascinating, actually. And talking to a few people here, it's been really interesting how some people just don't get the woo-woo bit. I must admit, sometimes that can be quite challenging for some when they're very used to very factual stuff. And it's interesting, actually, even within my own world, especially with the massage side of things, you have sometimes the very scientific-based people who are looking for all the actual evidence base to go with the treatments and so on. And even there, you can't always explain it that easily, and it doesn't always work in pure scientific terms either. There's room for a bit of both.
Absolutely, there is, yeah. Is it an ongoing thing, or can you just do like a one-off?
You can do a one-off thing, but I think certainly especially the body work, it takes time for the body to adjust and to maybe shift and change as well. So it's helpful, I think, to certainly the massage to continue to work with it. Sometimes you can get a change to happen in the tissues quite quickly, but to feel the real benefits and for things to last, I think you do need to sort of sustain the work. And certainly with the coaching side of things, that's something where changes gradually happen. And it's not something that changes overnight when you think about maybe, we've arrived at a certain issue and it's taken us years. It's not going to change overnight from that point of view. Online, you can see me at jerryandrews.co.uk. So that's one website that I've got, which is like an umbrella for the work that I do. So there's coaching, the massage, Reiki as well, so I work as a Reiki practitioner, but I also work from a corporate side of things, so do workplace wellbeing side of things there. But then also my old website, which I'm having updated, is massagetherapyleeds.com. So I've got two at the moment you can reach me at.
That's a lot of website. all the things.
All the things.
Lovely, well thank you for your time, love.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you too.
Hi, my name is Malena. Today here as a helper for my friend Steph Redding. She's a myofascial release therapist. Yeah, I do work not in healing or yoga or anything like this, but I'm very interested in it. Yeah, today I'm here to help, as I said, and explore the stalls and learn a bit more.
Have you received this myofascia?
I have, yes. So Steph has done it on me, and I do find it very, very beneficial, I must say. It did sometimes cause actually quite intense reactions in me, which were obviously positive, but something you don't expect, where your body just starts shaking, moving, and you don't really expect that to happen and you don't really understand why, but later on you feel just like weight has been lifted off your shoulder and you feel way more relaxed and like good about it. And Steph is then there as well to help you, obviously. And sometimes the reactions are subtle, I still feel relaxed, I feel good, but it's less intense, so it can shift. I find that very, very beneficial, and it's a very different approach, because I do like a strong massage, but it's Swedish, exactly, but this is a very, very different approach. It's very gentle, more kind of like a facilitation of things, so you barely feel it, but then out of a sudden you do feel it. So it's quite interesting.
You had quite a few treatments.
I did. I had a few sessions with Steph, but because she's my friend, she does that for me for free. But so I don't want to use her too much.
Can you tell us what it is, what happens?
Yeah, of course. So basically the fascia in your body is the connective tissue that holds everything together. So let's say you have like an injury, that might be that the fascia is blocked in certain places, or it's maybe injured somehow. So by releasing this fascia, she kind of like opens it up, and so it releases basically the tension that was stored there, and this then gives you relaxation. And it can be connected. So for example, your shoulder can be connected to your back, or so things like that. So she finds the points to release, and then if that makes any sense.
So you lay on a bed, and then does she like pressure point? Put the hands on pressure points?
Yeah, so basically, so she uses her hands to put it on certain parts of the body. But she does it also with a voice. And so you can say, if you say you don't want her hands, you just you don't like to be touched, then she can also just listen to your voice. But usually it's, hands, using the hands on the body. You lay on a massage table. Yeah, so it looks like a traditional massage as you know it.
And then afterwards you feel refreshed or energized or...
It can depend. So it depends also a bit on the trauma that you have. So you might have some trauma that needs releasing, and then obviously you're kind of exhausted afterwards, which can happen. But you can also feel, just really good, really... I wouldn't say energetic. I think it's, I mean, maybe some people do, I don't know, but I feel like it's more like, you're like, like I'm ready to rest now. Grounded for sure, yeah. You need to drink a lot of water, that's very important. Yeah, I wouldn't do it if you have a busy schedule afterwards. Okay. I wouldn't say. But I don't know, that's me. I don't know, maybe Steph would say something else.
No, it's cool. I know about the fascia just because I do Reiki, and I know Reiki travels around the fascia, and that's recently I found that out and been like, I understand now.
Nice, yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you for your time for interview.
Thank you for listening to this special episode of the Bell Witch podcast. The next section of the Vox Pocks episodes will be out in the coming week. Stay magical, witches.